But for now, we are going to explore Enoch Drubber's workshop. That's what they call it, a workshop. That looks like...
Oh! It's another super high voltage and sustaining kinesis machine. Indeed, it would appear so. Though only a prototype, naturally.
I just realized I didn't post the message on Twitter.
Oh, you're dropping the ball. You know,
Oh, come on, really, phone? You already forgot what was copied.
I may have also dropped the ball because I inadvertently ended up consuming the storyline to the Hound of the Baskervilles again very recently. It was not my intention, but, that's how the cards were laid.
Oh, well, I don't remember if there's anything spoilery there.
Yeah.
Was there?
No, I would know. It's because the stories usually are not like one-to-one, but like the character, like the Speckled Band wasn't about a cat in a boat and a Russian lady trying to...
It had a snake.
It had a snake. You're correct. That's about it.
Okay. So you read this line, right? Yeah.
Ah, so you got you then. Gina, well done for finding this place. And in such little time, you've really worked miracles. It Toby who's the miracle worker. Oof.
Thought you lot would show up before long.
Why is his eyes shut? Has his eyes always been shut?
Hello, Inspector. That's one knitted brow. No, this is new.
Okay.
He looks like he's eating a lemon, not a bag of fish and chips.
I mean, maybe there was a lemon tucked into the bag of fish and chips. So, Inspector, is there any sign of the engineer?
Sadly not. We didn't find a soul in here.
Oh, what a shame.
Well, thank you for letting us know about this place and giving us the chance to investigate. According to what Gina tells me, we only found it thanks to a clue that you lot turned up. I wouldn't want to say go to Paris with a debt of gratitude unpaid now, would I?
It just...
Thank you.
I mean, if I were to go to Paris, which I'm not saying I'm going to.
I mean, he told us he's going to.
Well, yeah, but like he doesn't want Gina to know.
Oh, it's kind of always unclear who can hear what parts of the conversation. Anyway, if you're hoping to snoop around here, I'd get cracking. Lord Von Zeeks and the forensic investigation team are on their way here as we speak. Then again... I imagine you get the picture by now. They don't take too kindly to lawyer types. Von Zeeks is a lawyer type!
I was gonna say, isn't Van Six a lawyer type?
Right.
So then, my dear fellows, let's turn this place upside down whilst we have the chance.
And you, Sholmes.
Pardon?
I love you. You look exactly like what Sholmes would look like when he just says pardon. With whatever that is on your face.
It's a dentist tool.
Oh, it's really hard to tell from the tiny image.
Yeah, it's a little mirror that dentists use to see if you have cavities.
Oh, do you have cavities?
No, I just have a dentist tool that lets me check if I do.
They take him less kindly to great detectives than they do to lawyers.
Very true, Gregson, very true. But you may consider me nothing more than an inconspicuous wax model.
Alright then, let's see what we can find in here. What is this?
I'm sorry, Mr. I heard the machine is covered by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. There'll be serious repercussions if you were to examine it from the Crown and the government. Or what you think this Persia does? Well, Gina, the only way we could find out is by ripping it out.
Well, those two don't seem to be holding back.
No, it's quite hollow inside. No working parts or devices of deception to be seen, my dear fellow.
Oh no, it's canon that he ripped something out!
Listen, trust me. No loose chains dropped on the floor, nothing. Not even a bone for Toby, my dear fella. British people are very ruled by their own ideals, aren't they?
Yes, well, we Japanese people are very ruled by our truths, aren't
Oh
we?
no! Spoilers!
I'm not even sure what I call it spoilers, but to Black and White. I think that's just
Need
these
more
two.
spoilers.
I think that's just these two, Mrs. Ada.
Now they know what game we were talking about.
I mean, it's kind of the like vague premise of the game, so it's less a spoiler and just the game.
Ah, this appears to be most interesting, yet... Yes, most interesting indeed, wouldn't you say?
An impressive looking back massager, that's for sure. I've no doubt that if you hit your shoulder a few times with that, your aches and pains would soon go away.
Whack! It's a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science. A young scientist could wish for no higher honor.
Ah,
Would you like a massage?
no, I'm fine, thank you. I had no idea it was such a grand thing.
I think it's becoming increasingly clear that there's much to this Mr. Enoch Drebber than conjuring tricks. Yes, I couldn't agree more, my dear madam. How about you, Mr. Naruto? Would you like to take it with you? Wouldn't you like to take it with you? For your tired shoulders, of course.
He's not going to let that go, is he?
It's curious, though, isn't it? You would expect such an important trophy to be proudly on display somewhere, not haphazardly cast aside. English gentlemen can be quite mysterious at times.
What is it? Oh, we never got to look at,
The metal film on the display camera that actually definitely has a photo inside of it for some dumb reason. What a wonderful machine!
You really love contraptions like this, don't you?
Oh yes, anything mechanical I find absolutely irresistible.
Almost irresistible? Almost irresistible, surely.
Well, whenever I see a pocket watch, for example, I can't help myself. I simply have to take it apart.
That's worrying.
Yes, father tells me the time by the rumblings of his stomach now. He's given up on having a watch.
Poor Professor Mikotoba. So every time she sees a watch, she takes it apart. That's just it. Won't put it back together either. Must reduce it to its base components.
Look, Miss Naruhodo.
What is it?
On the bellows here, there seems to be some very dark red stains.
Yes, you're right. It looks like blood, actually. Blood Actually is my favorite rom-com.
No! I hate it. Oh my.
I'm sure it's not what you're thinking. Well, look, the cover came open.
Yes, now there should be a glass plate inside. You have to change the plate with each new photograph you want to take, you see?
Is something wrong?
There's no plate. It's been removed.
Ah, what a pity. But if you think about it, This wouldn't be the actual camera that was used at the time, just like the waxwork isn't the actual person. So we'd never have found a photographic print of the executed convict coming back to life anyway.
Oh, yes, you're quite right, of course.
Well, Suzato-san, she looks devastated.
That would be so dumb if it was true! I'm glad that they didn't just go with it. It was like, oh!
But you're not disappointed that Suzato is the one that thought that it would be?
I mean, I do think less of her, but I mean, it is what it is. She's trying her best.
She can't be right 100% of the time.
Yeah.
There's a little metal plaque here, look. Fostering burgeoning talent for the future of scientific discovery.
Seems rather ironic, doesn't it?
But clearly Mr. Drebber really was a very talented scientist. Anything else? No. That's it. Cool. What on earth is this?
An aeroplane, Mr. Naruhodo. One day, scientists made some. Oh, it's been a while. It's been like 3 days. One day, scientists believed it would allow humans to fly freely in disguise.
Fly freely?
Fly freely. I can't speak today. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I mean, neither can I, so... Is that how the trick will be described, is it?
Yeah, sorry?
Well, it's actually suspended by a thin but very strong cable, isn't it?
Oh, well, this model is, yes, but the real airplane will actually fly high in the sky.
Well, suspended from somewhere even higher in the sky, of course. Because large metal objects obviously can't really stay in midair unsupported.
So to you the solution is ever taller towers? Oh, Ryunosuke.
Hey, that's probably a fairly normal mindset in like 1892 or whatever it is.
1992.
This is the European style quiver of arrows with steel bolts inside. What?
A European style quiver of arrows.
Yeah.
That's just such a weird way to like explain things.
Well, I mean, I assume a Japanese style quiver of arrows is different.
Touche. Oh, do you suppose?
Crossbow bolts, these. They're just the right side for the bow you lot turned up at the exhibition grounds. In other words... Yep, that's more evidence to support your theory. It all goes to show that Drebber was the one pulling the strings behind the scenes of the whole scam. Oh, I thought we got Quiver. I guess we didn't get Quiver. Actually, did we ever check
We checked
the glass?
Oh, we did not check the glass. Oh, it's so thick.
This piece of glass is almost as thick as it is wide.
Oh no. I've never seen anything like it. Also, I wouldn't say that. It's still a rectangle.
If you were to compare it to a human, only Mr. Sholmes has such thick skin.
There's really no need for such a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, as you all know.
Anyway, it can only be from the Crystal Tower, surely.
Yes, I think so too. It's made especially to meet the demands of the great structure.
I compare everything using the thickness of people's skin.
I compare everything to how thick it is to how long it is.
This door doesn't want to open.
Yeah, looks like it's got a pretty hefty lock on it.
There's a specialist locksmith on his way from the yard, so hands off till he gets here.
Yum, 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 yum. With permission, Inspector, I could have that lock open in less than a minute.
Well, you don't have permission. And no one's giving it to you. Gregson looked as though he really enjoyed that.
That was really good, Gregson. That was really good. May I have a look at that? No, you may not. Whoa, okay. Well, there's no sound of anybody on the other side.
No, Drebber must have fled at the first sign of danger.
What?
Thud.
Thud. Oh.
Something wrong, Mr. Zato.
Well, I thought I heard a noise from the far side of the door. Gina, do you hear too? Yeah, I heard it and all. What you reckon, Toby?
Alright, mind the grease. Whoever's in there, open up. There's a Scott in the yard.
Oh. There goes all those sound effect budget. Oh my, someone is in there.
Ugh, this rotten bleeding lock.
My dear Gregson, as I said early minutes ago, if it only were countenance, I could unlock that door in less than a minute.
Fine. Take the rap for it. Just get us through that blasted door.
Bum, 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 bum. There, you may enter at will.
You've confused minutes with seconds, I think.
This time is of the essence, I feel. What are we waiting for?
Nothing for it, I suppose. This is an emergency.
There's a strong possibility that beyond that door is the engineer you all seek. Be prepared for action, my dear fellow.
Yes. And make it traction. That didn't work.
The world. Oh, there's a bomb.
What happened in here? Why is everything upside down?
Rats. They ain't no one in here after all.
It looks like somebody had that rod from Zelda that's sole purpose is it flips stuff upside down.
Very useful.
It was like the dumbest item I feel in the entire Zelda franchise.
Listen, the dumbest item in my opinion is a spinning top.
Spinning top was cool, it just wasn't utilized much.
Well, yeah, it was just
Flipping stuff over never was cool.
You shut your mouth! I love flipping things over.
I could do that with my hands.
No, you must use a convoluted item that only one of its kind exists. But there must be. It was only moments ago that we had those noises.
Maybe that's what the sound of Drebber running away.
But there's only one in this room.
Only one what?
One door. You what? And no windows that could afford an escape. Those are too high. The skylights are too high. I apologize.
Let's use some nouns. What's that up there? Are they footprints on the ceiling?
You definitely close there.
I can't say it. In his voice. Blow me! What have we here then?
God, listen, you gotta be careful. You're gonna summon cool name.
Looks like someone's trying to burn something in a hurry.
Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints.
To what? To that Puzzle Hairbrain's barmy machine it is. Blimey! If it had these, it would have had no need for muckabout to investigate all that scrap metal.
There's something of great interest here, too. This rope was lying on the floor at the foot of that pillar.
A rope? What's significant that about? What's significant about that?
Never mind. You see, but you do not observe, Mr. Naruto. Oh. We must investigate the entire room thoroughly, and before the forensic investigation team arrives too. I'm here. I'm just getting comfy because my back was hurting.
Okay. It's a really lovely model. It looks just like a real flying balloon.
I think it's probably staying aloft on the same principle as a full-size balloon using gas.
A green flying balloon. It does have the hallmarks of that amazing deception at the Great Exhibition, doesn't it? Could it be that the whole thing was planned here in this very workshop? We kind of established that, but... There's no denying it is there. They're footprints.
Yes, it would appear so. I simply can't imagine how they came to be there.
Isn't there a Susato shoot-up or something? Like a Susato takedown, I mean.
I'm no Wonder Woman, Mr. Naruto.
That would make her almost superhuman, I suppose. Was that an actual Wonder Woman reference?
Did they invent Wonder Woman canonically in their universe?
Susato canonically is Wonder Woman.
Almost every piece of furniture is upside down.
That. Even Mr. Sholmes' suite isn't ever in this much of a mess.
You're in no position to comment on mess, Mr. Naruto.
But I suppose it's not quite the same thing, is it? I mean, it's not messy in here per se, it's that everything is literally upside down.
But why?
Is it upside down, or are we
are we
down?
right side up? Yep.
That's a very large safe. I don't suppose even Mr. Sholmes could open that lock. Although if you were a thief, you could just steal the entire thing, I suppose.
It's bolted to the floor to prevent that exact same thing from... It's bolted to the floor to prevent exactly that sort of underhand trick, Mr. Naruto.
Well then, you could just steal the floor as well, I suppose.
I'm sorry, but you really aren't making any sense at all. Anyways, I think we can agree that whatever is inside must be very important.
I feel like Ryunosuke just, says whatever appears in his head without even thinking about it.
Yeah, I think he has no, cognitive, complex thought ability.
He's just well, you could just steal the floor then. What? Huh?
He must be one of those people that, don't have an internal monologue, which is false, because we literally exist in his internal monologue, but also has no filter and just has to say the first thing that comes to his mind.
He has to work out that, oh, well, you could just steal the floor, but, oh, well, you could just steal the building, but, oh, I guess you could just steal England. Sure.
Yeah, but you'd have to steal the water around England, so you might as well just steal the entire world, and if you're stealing the entire world...
How could you steal the world, though? It's flat.
It's thicker than it's long.
Ryunosuke would absolutely believe the world is flat, even in the 1800s.
He's the OG flat earther. Ichiban.
Mr. Sholmes, have you found something?
Mr. Naruto. Yes, in point of fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make of this?
Let's see. Never seen anything like it before. Looks like a bundle of thick cigars wrapped in a large wrapped up in a large watch to me. Miss Susato, what's the matter?
That's a... Surely that's a time bomb, isn't it?
What did you say?
A time bomb.
I'm sorry, but what is a time bomb exactly? Eh,
You truly are one of a kind, Mr. Hodo.
I won't take that as a compliment.
Ha! You don't know nothing, do you, Odo?
You haven't got a clue what it is either, have you, Gina?
I invite you to consult the dictionary later, Mr. Odo. But this particular specimen is no time bomb. I confess it has a very similar appearance. Oh, well, thank goodness, but then, what is it? I see, so that's it.
Hmm?
Goodness, Mr. Sholmes. Have you seen the heart of the matter? There are times when I consider my lot most unfair. I'm fated to never know how it feels to flounder as you do when a puzzle presents itself. But I have learned to accept the hardships that comes with being a great detective, Miss Susato.
Here we go. I feel a great deduction coming.
Once again, I can draw two conclusions from the scene we see before us. The first is that the inverted nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Drebber himself. Oh, but how could you? And the second conclusion is that the small device on the floor here is without question completely genuine. Please, Mr. Sholmes, you must explain everything. It would be a pleasure. After all, it is a great detective's civic duty to teach Scotland Yard the finer points of the trade.
Well, Inspector Gregson seems delighted with the idea anyway.
Yeah! Oh, you've deflected the inspector's glow with such fortitude there, Mr. Sholmes. Well done.
He succeeded in his con saving throw.
You're too kind, my dear madam. I hereby declare this great deduction to you, dedicated to you. Kindly stand just there, Mrs. Atto. Oh, yes, I'd be delighted. So, shall we begin? Once again, Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular.
There we go. Flipped furniture.
It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray. The bed, the table, the chairs, the lamp. Everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in this room had, until recently, been happily positioned on this ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor. Every item in the room was on this ceiling? Are you suggesting that? Indeed, the key here is gravity. Is he just like admitting that he's psychokinetic?
He's a gravity mage.
He's a gravity mage. Oh no! It would appear that technology has relaxed us seated and freed us from the great pull of the earth. I mean, also, it helps that you have the Shining, but that's okay. For the gravity of this room was reversed and then suddenly restored to normality. Goodness! The invented furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. I quite understand your skepticism, Ms. Zato. I, too, was incredulous at first. However, my conviction in my analysis was cemented when I observed this.
The anti-gravity device, almost identical to one featured in a dream of mine only the other day, in fact. But why does it have a clock on it? Most relevant question indeed. That is a timing device that controls when the gravity direction will switch. There was clearly a requirement from the engineer to be able to restore normal gravity automatically. And the commotion we heard earlier from the other side of the door was the moment that restoration was occurred. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. So you see, we need look no further to explain the state in which we find this room. The direction in which gravity acts in here was reversed by Mr. Drebber. Before being restored to normality in an automatic fashion sometime later by the timer device. I have witnessed precisely the scene in a dream once when I fell out of bed.
Well, it's just like, yeah, anti-gravity.
Checks out.
Missing engineer.
Now let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain this action is above our head. Yes, how is it possible that there were footprints all the way up there on the ceiling? A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. Of course, Drebber's aim was singular to escape. However, there is but one way into this room, except the skylight it is. Ah. Whoa. By inverted gravity here, Drebber was able to fall conveniently to the ceiling and make his escape via the otherwise inaccessible skylight, leaving those footprints behind on the way. But the ceiling in here is very high, Mr. Sholmes. Is she slowly going down? I think she is. She's slowly falling.
No, the whole camera's slowly panning up.
Is it?
Yeah. Though it stopped now.
The gravity reversal was sudden. Would Mr. Drebber have fallen up to the ceiling rather violently? Falling up is more scientifically and philosophically rather interesting concept, I feel. But the man was cornered with nowhere to run, so escape through the skylight was his only option. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope! To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? By anchoring one at the end of the wall, the man was able to lower himself safely to the ceiling. Which explains how Trevor was able to escape this room before our arrival. He reversed the pull of gravity and fled via the skylight. Personally, I should very much like to reverse the pull of gravity again now, just for fun.
Makes sense.
Makes total sense. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle.
She's completely spellbound. Mr. Sholmes, there's just one thing that troubles me.
I would expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled by just one thing for the rest of your life.
That's rude.
The thing is such a thing actually possible? An anti-gravity device, I mean.
I would say that with man's current scientific knowledge at the turn of the 20th century, it's more possible than instantaneous kinesis.
It's no more possible.
It's no more possible.
I want to believe, Shad.
But your whole deduction hinges on it.
Ah, but my dear fellow, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
You said the line.
However improbable it may be, it may seem.
Of course, that's not at all how Sherlock Holmes would have used that line, but sure.
It's a marvelous line. Would you agree? One of my most enduring pearls of wisdom. I had Iris come up with that exact phrasing. My original was clumsy.
Do you like that new pronunciation?
Yes, I have a feeling I've read it in something that Mr. Zatter lent me once.
Oh, the rare Susato objection.
Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, the spell is broken at last.
The rope you found on the floor was on the floor, wasn't it? Indeed it was. Its lonely coil near the wall. But if Mr. Drebber had used it to escape in the way you described, would it still be tied to the wall? Mysteries inevitably unravel in the end, as I think you'll find. Two ropes. And as evidence as such, you need only look at the mystery face of this room, now skillfully unraveled.
That argument is as circular as the coil's rope.
I think perhaps we might need to give Mr. Sholmes the usual little helping hand. I'm sure that with some minor corrections, a great detective's great deduction will lead us to the truth.
Yes, you're right. We must do it quickly before Enoch Drebber gets too far away.
If you're ready then, let us resume. Sherlock Sholmes, logic and reason is spectacular.
Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes.
Hold it. He set the line. Jump, jump.
Falling straight down. Oh, we didn't have to course correct the falling? I thought we would have had to.
Why?
Because usually whatever is in highlighted text is something that we have to course correct.
The orange text? No, there's lots of orange text that isn't.
Isn't this here? Right?
Yeah, because there's a question mark.
Yeah, but it's still the orange text. I wasn't aware that there was other kinds of orange text.
Do you think gravity could have been
Oh,
reversed?
look at all this orange text.
Well, yeah, now I'm aware, but I'm saying I thought that all orange text needed to be course corrected. I didn't realize that there were non-correctable
Orange text is just like bolding, I guess, like, hey, important thing, kind of.
Yeah. I also think that the course correction orange text is in orange and also bolded.
It is bolded a bit.
Whereas all the other orange text is just regular orange. So I think
Yeah.
that may be the other reason why I'm confused.
Do you think gravity could have been reversed in this very room? I find the whole idea utterly enthralling. Only Mr. Sholmes could conceive of such an explanation.
But the man himself admitted it was a scientific impossibility, so...
Yes, you're right. You're quite right. You must completely discount the idea at once.
Ooh, that's unusually merciless of you, Mr. Sutter.
When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. The great detective himself said so, didn't he?
while refusing to part with his dreams of anti-gravity devices.
Yes, I suppose so.
Well, let's see if examining this topsy-turvy scene a little more closely reveals some proof that shows exactly what the gravity in this room was or wasn't doing. Okay, so there's the inverted furniture, the upright vase, the large safe. I think that's everything.
Can we check out the right side up vase? I want to pick it. I just want to see what they say about it.
Well, I wasn't expecting to find a pretty bunch of flowers in here, that's for sure.
Ah, look at that!
I know. That slender little vase looks like it's about to topple at any moment, but the flowers are thriving. Somehow it makes you think of the fragility of life, wouldn't you say?
To be honest, Mr. Naruhodo, something else about it made a rather deep impression in me.
Okay,
Oh, so that was it.
that is it.
What are the other options? The large safe?
Large safe, inverted furniture, upright vase.
I don't know if the upright vase clearly reveals the truth, but I don't think there's a penalty for trying, so go ahead and try it.
Wanna try it?
Yeah.
The upright vase clearly reveals the truth about the part anti-gravity played in this whole business.
Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, you surpassed yourself by completely turning my argument on its head. Trying to impress your assistant here, perhaps.
No one is trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Sholmes, trust me.
As rightly you say. It appears at first glance that all the furniture in the room is upside down. This unassuming slender vase is standing keenly to attention. And unlike the large safe, there's nothing to fixing it to the floor.
I got a sneeze in the chamber, so you're gonna have. It might come at any moment.
And it's the exception that breaks the rule.
In short, as much as it pains me, the gravity in this room was never inverted at all.
My deepest sympathies for your loss.
Oh, poor Mr. Sholmes. But the show must go on, so let's continue with our deductions. Now that we know this contrivance is not in fact an anti-gravity device, there remains but one other possibility.
You okay? You don't say. Let's give us a moment. Time for me to get a drink.
I don't know. I don't know if it's allergies or what. I got this like really weird itch.
Do you have tissues?
I don't think it's. I don't know. Weird. We'll persevere. Someone delivering.
You're very distant.
Oh, sorry.
I'm here now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was in the other room. So a delivery turned over every piece of furniture in here.
Which might sound obvious, but leaves one mystery very much unsolved. Namely, why would anyone choose to do that?
Quite, and naturally, there is an exception.
Explanation.
Explanation? Yes, the reason why everything has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device.
He's absolutely determined that this device must have something to do with it, isn't he?
I'm afraid the lure of an exciting scientific explanation is too strong.
Well, there's no doubt that somebody did this. Somebody turned all the furniture over. So whoever it was must have had a reason.
I'm afraid nothing comes to mind at all, though.
Well, let's look around and see if the answer presents itself. So there's the anti-gravity device, that we're still calling it. The safe combination. The coal-burning heater.
It's a safe explanation.
Safe combination.
Yeah.
Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the safe combination.
Precisely, I believe, Mr. Hodo. You had a very similar experience once, did you not?
Yes, last year, when I bought a lottery ticket and noted the ticket number down on the inside cover of a book, just in case.
That's it. For people who are forgetful souls at heart, and always make a written note of important information. Just keeping the ticket itself safe would be more sensible, I think. And what, pray, happened next, Mr. Hodo?
When the day of the draw came round, I'd forgotten which book I'd written the number in and had to turn my room upside down to find it.
That's it. For people who forgetful souls at heart and always forget where they've noted things down. Not if you always note things in the same place.
I love her luck. I actually won the second. I actually won the second prize, you know.
I was gonna reread that line.
Oh, but I couldn't remember. Dang it! What were you gonna reread?
No, it's fine. I was
read
just
it
gonna
Not if you always note things in the same place.
I actually won the second prize, you know, but I couldn't remember which magazine I slipped the ticket into, so I had to turn my room upside down.
Thank you, Mr. Hodo, but I believe I've proved my point now. Which is that a very similar scenario clearly unfolded in this room.
Finding himself requiring to access to the safe, the occupant of this room needed the combination code. He remembered that he'd written it on the underside of a piece of furniture, but forgot which one.
Leading to the state in which we now find the room. Yes, Mr. Drebber overturned all the furniture in here in a desperate hurry to locate the combination code that would unlock the safe. To find the safe combination.
Yeah, but I don't get how you suddenly think, oh, maybe I wrote it under the bed and flipped the entire bed over.
Yeah, you would know that you wrote it on something that is flippable.
Now,
Like, just if it's like maybe he's just like the Hulk or something, and like everything you just flip over mindlessly.
Yeah, I can see that.
now let's consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain this action is above our heads. Yes, how is it
I
possible?
think these are all the same.
Oh, fair.
Okay, here's where it goes. TVs.
Wait. Ugh. Well, if a change of direction of gravity can explain it, then how did those footprints get there?
Yes, I feel as though that particular mystery has just become even harder to solve.
I can't think of any other way to explain it at all. Oh, the life was so much simpler in those halcyon days when gravity could be reversed.
It was minutes ago, and those halcyon days never existed in the first place.
Well, I suppose we must simply put our faith in Mr. Sholmes and observe the area in more detail.
Putting our faith in Mr. Sholmes is what got us into these situations in the first place.
It's those Falchion days.
Felchian?
Yeah.
Is that outside?
I don't know.
Oh.
That's how I say
Oh, it's
it.
Halcyon, because it's an H. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm talking about the sword from Fire
Yeah,
Emblem.
yeah, I realize. So there's Skylight, Balloon, Shoe. That's it.
The shoe.
The shoe. Because of the nearby shoe. Oh, I didn't mean to click it! I'll read it now. It's hard to believe, but there's a shoe up there, look.
Oh, yes, and there's more footprints on the little balloon, too. Perhaps the shoe was thrown up there and became large, do you think?
If so, then judging from the number of footprints, it must have been thrown up several times. Why would anyone be throwing shoes up at the ceiling, though?
Oh dear, that's beyond me, I'm afraid.
Okay, there we go. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby shoe. And on closer inspection, there are clearly footprints all over the balloon as well.
You read Sholmes' line.
Oh. Okay.
No, that's fine. I like Renosuke's take on
No, you should
Do you want
read.
it. I'm cursed by my success. And on closer inspection, there are clearly footprints all over the balloon as well. And in other words, the aim was never the Scarlet at all, but the balloon.
But for what purpose?
A green balloon. That seems somewhat familiar data.
Ah,
There's a piece of a green balloon's envelope that Miss O'Hara and Iris found at the scene.
it's inside the green balloon that Mr. Gatz claims he saw above the stage when the incident occurred. It was the second birdcage, the crux of the whole instantaneous kinesis deception.
You mean to say?
If we assume the balloon here is the motto, the one used on that day, there's a sure possibility something may be concealed inside it.
Do you need to get up for something?
No, I should be okay.
Okay.
I really don't know what it is, and it might be allergies. I've never felt this way before.
Did you suddenly just like inhale like a hairball or something?
I don't know. Maybe. Something our absconder was desperate to retrieve before making a hasty getaway.
But the balloon's out of reach.
Hence, why he resorted to a projectile, namely a shoe.
Ah,
Most probably, Trevor intended to tear a hole in the envelope by sailing it with the shoe. However, his efforts were thwarted when the shoe itself became a prisoner of those lofty heights.
Oh dear. We desperately need to examine that balloon. If only there was some way we could see inside.
You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution.
Oh, the rope.
To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope?
Mr. Sholmes has managed to bring the deduction back to the rope.
alright, I have to admit, that was clever. So we just throw the rope up to the balloon and pull it down to us on the ground.
Which is much easier said than done, I feel. And could take a very long time as well.
True, perhaps we need a more surefire method. In fact, we already have one, of course, don't we?
Crossbow!
I think it's the first time I've ever used an evidence here, but...
Yeah.
To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this crossbow?
that we found at the scene, in fact.
In all likelihood belongs to Mr. Drebber.
The man had only brought it away with him that day. He could have avoided losing his shoe at such a critical time as this. So, shall we? Your curiosity is deeply stirred, no doubt, my dear fellows. What is that Enoch Drebber has hidden? What is it that Enoch Drebber has hidden inside that balloon? Just tampering with a crime scene. Great.
A crime scene? What crime?
Fair enough.
Oh, you screamed.
Ah!
What the? A waxwork?
Indeed it is. A waxwood head inside a metal mask. A mask that is shut tight and fastened with a strong, quite impenetrable lock.
So we can't see the face inside, that means.
Just a moment. This is the head of a waxwork model. Does that mean... Oh, goodness! I see you've joined the dots, Mrs. Otto. Excellent.
Ah, of course, a headless waxwork model. The case of the abducted Madame Tuspel model that you'd largely solved. It was only the head of the killer that was still missing.
Indeed it was. But I believe Madame Tuspel will now have to settle her sizable account with me. This, as you have now surmised, is the head of the infamous professor.
Yes.
But why is it here? This conclusively confirms my suspicions. The man responsible for stealing the professor from Madame Tuspel's and returning it to Sans tent earlier today was none other than Enoch Drebber.
Is that Sans' last name?
I think it's head.
His Sans' head?
I'm gonna look it up.
No, don't look it up. Spoiler.
Spoilers to know what Santet mean.
No, I took a Sans skeleton guy. His last name.
Oh no, I don't know.
This is incredible. Professor Herbern's case and the waxwork abduction are... they're inextricably linked by Enoch Drebber's workshop.
Yes, Santet means headless. Snap. Well, it appears our logical pleasure cruise has come to an end, my dear fellows.
Might as well check this. This lock does look very strong, doesn't it? There's definitely no way you can remove the mask yourself if it was put on you.
What a terrible way to treat someone, even a convicted criminal.
I know, it's starting to make me livid, actually.
Naruhodo, please.
I mean, just think about it. Imagine if you had an itch on your cheek all of a sudden. You'd be utterly helpless.
Yeah, that's literally my same thought.
Well, yes, that's true. But I'm not sure that warrants quite so much anger.
I would be real angry.
Right. Sorry.
I'm itchy all the time.
I mean, I'm only itchy when I can't reach the itch.
Yeah, so imagine getting
I feel like my entire face would just itch constantly.
Right? You would literally be in complete agony because you're starting to itch and you can't itch it. Well, it appears our logical pleasure cruise has come to an end, my dear fellow. All that remains is, yes, just Architect's adventure. The architect?
You mean Mr. Drebber?
As it seems quite impossible that he escaped via one of the skylights. Obviously, the man must still be here in this room. What? His location should be abundantly clear.
If you simply reflect on the journey we've made together. Doing this deduction.
Inektubu is here, somewhere in this room.
So, Mr. Odo, will you do the honors?
Yes, of course. Mr. Drebber's hiding place must be the...
What?
There's wardrobe, cupboard, large safe. I think that's it.
Do we get an achievement for picking wardrobe?
Oh, and skylight. I don't know. We could check it.
I don't care. It's your achievements.
I
would
know, but
say-
it might have some amusing text, which is more
Yeah.
important than achievements.
Go ahead, check for the amusing text.
If you need to hide, there's no better place than a wardrobe. I stand firmly by that.
Clearly.
Ah, yes, you had some experience of that yourself a year ago, didn't you?
We'll find him in there, mark my words. He'll be curled up in a ball, trembling and hungry. In fact, my own hand is trembling just thinking about making the discovery.
Never mind, Mr. Naruhodo. He could be hiding somewhere else, you know.
It doesn't look like there's any achievements here.
It's in the safe.
Safe? You sure?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it seems like a safe guess.
Wait.
Before we gained access to the back room, we heard noises from in here.
Which tells us that the engineer was still in the building at that point in time.
He was, in fact, searching for the combination to the safe.
Impressed for time, he made no attempt to right the furniture that he overturned in the process. From which we can deduce that his search for the combination happened very recently indeed. In summary, Mr. Enoch Drebber. It's at this very moment inside the safe. Thus concludes Herlock Sherman's great deduction of the topsy-turvy puzzle. Inside the safe. Inside the safe, baby. Inside the safe, baby. Inside the safe.